Well, hi folks, August the 5th. Trust everyone is well, and everybody is following all the chaos and craziness going on. And of course, maybe you're in the school of thought that you just sort of ignore it all. If you don't acknowledge it, it's not there. And I suppose that sort of brings to the fore why we're in this situation, locally, provincially, federally, and worldwide. It's because most of us just don't pay attention, don't acknowledge anything's wrong, and hope it'll all go away. And of course, we bite onto the buzzwords that are passed down to us, like paid volunteerism, sustainable development, systemic racism, all that garbage that gets passed on. We just sort of we grab the buzzwords because that's easy, we can do that. And our local medias, that's what they sort of feed us. And again, most people don't have time to really do any digging, and so they know what they know. It's like has been said, if you don't know your rights, do you really have any? Good question. If you don't know your rights, do you have any? It's intriguing, and you know, we elect people, and the people we elect, we expect they're going to go and do a decent job. We don't hold anybody's feet to the fire. Most people don't. We figure that making our X or our check mark in a box is all we have to do, and forget it from there. And of course, most people go into politics, I suppose. There's a lot of psychos go in just for some power and whatever, free money, because it's a lucrative position in Canada, especially at the federal level. And so even on our local level, we elect people who we figure are going to do a good job. Most of us don't go to council meetings. We don't have the time. We're working. We're busy. Small businesses are working 12, 14 hours a day and don't have, I guess, time to sort of go check on things. And of course, the politicians hire some bureaucrats or assist in hiring bureaucrats. And at the end of the day, it's left to the bureaucrats. I mean, the tail is sort of controlling the thing. And we just sort of let it slide. We let it slide. The politicians on a local level who go into the idea to change something, they're quickly destroyed by the bureaucratic machine and the rest of the old boys club and old girls club in the background. And that's how it goes. And it sort of goes that way provincially as well. It goes like that federally. And we just come see, come saw. We go around and hope we have somebody benevolent so it doesn't get too bad. And of course, much of the reporting done. In the description section, I've added a couple of links. And if you have the time, these are really, I think, really good. And of course, if you don't check into them and click on them and take the time to watch, well, you don't know, and so it doesn't exist. But the rebel news people, they do some digging. Not everybody likes their attitude sometimes, but they do some digging. You got to tip your hat to that. They report what our standard media refuse to report. They ask tough questions. The questions are so tough that our Prime Minister won't let them into news conferences to ask questions. They have to go to court to be allowed to be part of a press club. Politicians don't want to answer real questions. So there's two links on there. One is about our security supplies when it comes to, say, a pandemic. You'll find that interesting. The other one is regarding vaccines, that sort of thing. I think you'll find those interesting. The other one is Duran's. Duran, this is world famous journalists. They do things. One's in North America, one is in England. They're both from Greece originally, I think. But they're looking at the Trudeau scandals, and it's interesting. It's from a distance look at Trudeau and what he does, and in the procedure they follow that he follows. And maybe we don't ask those kind of questions and look at it that way, but I think we should start. And you know, I just was at a brief meeting myself today in a local area where a local business A local person had purchased some property, and access was taken off the property by a civil servant who just went and just painted a line, so no access, sort of thing. Think about that. And of course, the person who did that showed up, so we had an interesting meeting. And but how many things like that happen where nobody says anything? Nobody calls people on it. And they do it because they do it, and we say, well, I haven't got time to look at that, or whatever. I say people have to really, really get into looking at things and questioning. And of course, people don't like the questions. You know, people don't like their authority being questioned. And sometimes you have to have the brass to do that. You know, you don't want to insult anybody, you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but hey, come on, let's be real. Let's be real. And the situation we're in worldwide, like I say, most people still aren't recognizing it, or if they are, they're pretending it isn't there, because we're slip-sliding away. I remember a fellow who was in his late 80s said that was his newest favorite song, "Slip-Sliding Away," and that's where we are if we don't all get up and start paying attention to what's happening. It's in our best interests. It's our tax money. It's our whatever time we have left on this planet, and our children and our grandchildren and future generations. We owe it to them to make sure things aren't going sideways and upside down, like a lot of the anarchists would like it to be. If you just look stateside, just look down the West Coast. We're on the West Coast here too in British Columbia. Fortunately, we're not as goofy as that yet. But you look at California, you look at Washington, Oregon, California, these guys are all out to lunch. Their mayors and their governors, what the hell are they doing? It's sort of stupidity. And of course, now the major news channels and mainstream media, they're not reporting that. They're telling us what the people would like us to hear. They've really created a situation where they have people arguing and fighting amongst each other. And for the most part, the real people in those areas aren't fighting each other. That's just the perception that the news is kicking through. And it's when you do find some information on the idiots protesting and burning buildings, those aren't the people, whatever race they are, that we're arguing with. We're arguing with anarchists. We're arguing with imbeciles. And we just sometimes don't get serious enough about it. I think we have to stand up and say enough is enough is enough. I mean, this corruption in government is just really, really sickening. It's really, really sickening. And it's not all government officials. Although some of the politicians, they're getting their palms, maybe not cash in their palms, but they're getting favors and benefits as well. Not all of them, but there are some of them. But then when you look, especially look stateside, I mean, you look at the corruption in their FBI, their CIA, and it's at the top. It's sort of crazy. And I think people have to say enough is enough of this kind of bullshit. Those kind of people shouldn't be there. But everybody's just letting it slide. But anyway, that's about all for today. Don't be slip-sliding away, and take care. We'll see you tomorrow.